Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Centers for Spiritual Living Greater Boston. My name is Gina, and I am the spiritual director for this beloved community. We teach the science of mind, which is a culmination of spirituality in a nutshell, philosophy, religion, and science. And we connect practical spirituality to everyday life, how we can use every aspect of the magic of spirit in, through, and as us in every moment, always available, always waiting, beckoning, ready. So today we have a wonderful program scheduled. I am very excited. We have a beautiful guest speaker all the way from the UK live with us. And, we have a wonderful message that is very pertinent. Because when we look at life and all the stuff that is happening right now in our society, there's often a lot that happens that is not the way we would choose it. We come here and we come together in and as love. It's easy to be loving and joyful when you're surrounded by people that are like-minded or accepting and open. That's easy. And then we turn on the news and we see things that don't feel that way. So the lesson today, which the title is Looking Anger in the Heart, all the more is pertinent in the time that we're living right now. So I am so grateful to be here with each and all of you. And before we get into our invocation and everything else, I am going to begin with a song. And, the song is entitled Love. And it is actually, all of our music is from our beloved Laura Topper and Infinity with Jason, which we've had very symbolic. The first time as spiritual director, I sat here the first week of October. She was our musical guest. And now she is, just as I have, finished my ministerial classes and exams. And the two of us sit here as classmates, as friends, and she is giving our message. So life happens in so many wonderful ways, and that is what we choose to look at. So we're going to focus on love.
I embrace and cherish every moment, knowing this time is truly blessed. An ever-ending light of love shines so brightly from my heart. My heart is fully open to connect, sending love and light to all it touches. It holds a space and reaches far, to streets and deserts, mountains high, seas and cities in the sky. Love returns to me from far and wide. This love that I give and receive is my birthright. This love that I give and receive is unconditional. This love that I give and receive is never ending. This love is God in me. Spins around me, rocking it spins around me, rocking it spins around me. Ooh, rocking it spins around me, rocking it spins around me, wrapping its spins around me. Ooh, loving me and loving others, loving this perfect universe. This love is unconditional, supreme and unstoppable, forever healing, pure and strong. unconditional. This love that I give and receive is never ending. This love is gone in me.
Wrapping its wings around me, wrapping its wings around me, wrapping its wings around me. Ooh, wrapping its wings around me, wrapping its wings around me, wrapping its wings around me. Ooh,
This love that I give and receive is my birthright. This love that I give and receive is unconditional. This love that I give and receive is never ending. This love is God in me.
wings around me, wrapping its wings around me, wrapping its wings around me. Ooh, wrapping its wings around me, wrapping its wings around me, wrapping its wings around me. Ooh, wrapping its wings around me, wrapping its wings around me, wrapping its wings around me. Ooh.
Yes, this love is wrapping its wings around us. It is absolutely our birthright, that unconditional and never ending love. Beautiful. And along the same lines of beautiful, we have our invocation. And Karen is going to be giving, she's on our leadership council and just involved in so much here. And I know that love that she gives will be wrapping its wings around us.
Good morning, everyone. That was the most beautiful song, and I can just imagine love. So, as we close our eyes and settle in to our chairs, wherever we are, just take a deep breath and breathe in that love. Breathe it in and feel it wrapping itself around you. That divine love that fills our hearts and our minds and our bodies. It is everywhere. There's nowhere that this divine love is not. And we are one with that divine love. We are that love. We breathe that love. We exude that love. We know that love. Even when it seems like we don't, we do. And I feel this love of the spiritual community, whether out there in the world of the internet, on New Thought Media, on YouTube, in this room, we are surrounded by love. Love is everywhere. Love can heal anything. And I am knowing this morning. Gina and Laura, congratulations for completing your exams, which was done with love and ended with love. We are so happy for you. We're happy for the technology that works flawlessly here for each person in this room and each person watching. And we know that the music and the message will be heard, seen, and felt exactly in the manner it was meant to. And so, with that, I say have fun, enjoy, listen, and feel the love. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much, Karen. Beautiful. And for our spiritual reading, we have the lovely and ever giving Diane.
Good morning. I have two readings today. They're both written by Dr. Holmes. And the first one appeared just this March in the Science of Mind magazine. And it is entitled, It's Up to You. And I'm going to read an excerpt of it. So, he says, today we are going to see the effect our thoughts can have on our lives. What do you think life holds in store for you? Do you look forward to success and happiness? Is yesterday a happy memory? And what about today? Did you ever think that the only yesterday you can live over again is in your own mind, and the only tomorrow you can live is also in your own mind? Your yesterdays then are but memories, and your tomorrows anticipations. But just as today flows out of yesterday, so tomorrow will be the outcome of what you think today. Are you, like all the rest of us, carrying a lot into today that you should let go of? If so, it's up to you to rearrange your thoughts so there won't be any fear or hurt or anger carried over into today. It's up to you to look confidently forward to tomorrow so today you won't be plagued by the thoughts of what might happen. There's no way to make today happy other than living as though today would be an endless succession of your heart's desire. Did you ever take time out of your busy life to sort of think things over and wonder what is back of this thing called life? In the text I'm reading, this thing called life is capitalized, and I'd like to mention that it's just one of the many books that Dr. Holmes has gifted us with. What is its purpose? Does it have a goal? Is there a meaning to it? And where do you fit into the whole scheme of things? You, like everyone else, wish to be well, happy, and successful. Don't you think that this thing called life must wish us all to have a full and glorious life? If this weren't true, why would you have all those secret longings of your heart? For your imagination must flow from some secret source. If this weren't true, how could a new idea be born in your mind? It seems as though there is an irresistible something trying to interpret itself through everything. And I'm just going to another section of this talk, and he says something very helpful. Let us see if we cannot map out a little program, something direct and simple, and begin to act as though life is what we make it. Begin to think and plan this way. Begin to live and hope to this purpose. In other words, let's deliberately imagine that thoughts are things and that the sum total of all your thinking decides what is going to happen to you. This is to be a new and wonderful adventure in the art of living. There was never a great man who did not follow this rule, whether he knew it or not, and the greatest man who ever lived definitely said, "This is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." And I'm going to share a brief meditation that he has written, and it's been published in the Science of Mind text, which is the Bible for this philosophy. It's on page 558. And it's called Peace is the Power at the Heart of God. My peace is found at the heart of God. The heart of God for me is found at the very center of my being. It does not matter how closely the confusion of the outer world presses against me. I am not even disturbed by the confusion in my immediate environment. I know that the only way to counteract confusion is to bring peace into play. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. These words of assurance stay with me, and I hear them re-echoing in the depths of my being. I do not fear sickness, disease, or death, because the eternal and perfect life animates my body and goes about its perfect work, healing and renewing that body. I'm not afraid of want or lack, for the one infinite essence supplies me with everything I need all of the time. There is nothing for me to fear, for I am an inseparable part of God. I live in him, he lives in me, and I draw upon his perfect peace. My peace is found at the heart of God. And so it is. Thank you.
How beautiful. My peace is found in the heart of God. And knowing that that is right here where each one is. It's always right where we are. If only we remember in the midst of the chaos and the storm, in the midst of us is that peace and truth. So that's why we're here today. We are here live in Medford. We are here live wherever you are online. We are here knowing that truth. And to bring that forward even more, we have a wonderful, wonderful speaker and minister coming forth. Right. I'm blessed to introduce Laura Topper today. And Laura is, her mission and purpose is to help, especially women, to create their dream life business, to live in freedom and prosperity and feel alive doing what they love. She is a spiritual activator, global new thought leader. She is a host, and she's an author. She has books, she has programs, teachings. She is absolutely amazing. She's the host of Cosmic Prayer and Wisdom of the Mystics on New Thought Media Network. She is also very much one of the leaders there on the prayer team, prosperity team. She is a gift, and I am thrilled to introduce the beautiful Laura Topper.
Hi,
My
Gina.
friend and my gift. Thank you for being here from the UK to Boston.
Yes, from the UK. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. I just feel so blessed and humbled to be here with CSL Greater Boston, with Gina, I know, who is journeying through ministerial education and just completed your amazing exams. So well done, Gina, and Barbara and Darlene and Karen. Thank you for welcoming me into your center today. And whoever is watching and listening at whatever point, today I'm talking about anger, looking at anger in the heart. And our affirmation for today is, my true nature is peace and love. Yes, we know this is our true nature. Thank you, Gina, for putting that up. And yet, in the craziness sometimes of our worlds and our experience here on this amazing planet, it's not always simple or easy to get back to that place of knowing that my true nature is peace and love. It takes work, it takes an effort, it takes a conscious decision to remain in that knowing. You know, our life here on this planet is, as human beings, when we're spiritual human beings, of course, we can't separate that. We are spiritual human beings having a spiritual human experience. And a part of that experience, a huge part of that experience, is emotional. This month with CSL, we're looking at the global theme of emotions. And today we're zooming in, when we're kind of narrowing in on a big set of emotions that happen that we may not feel happy about, because they are the emotions. These are the emotions that push us, that prod us, that give us that kind of signal to possibly make a change for our lives. And that's not always easy. Sometimes we don't want to make those changes. And so we carry on with the outpicturing of these emotions and stay in the same place. Well, we know with our teaching, that's not the point of this. The point of this is to grow, to expand, to unfold into that divine representation of the divine within ourselves, and to live that as our experience. So there's this full spectrum of emotions, anger being one of them. And there's a full spectrum of anger itself. You know, when I was growing up as a child, I can look back now at the age of nearly 58, this year 58, and see my childhood experience with my parents, who I adore, and you know, they love me and my sister, and brought me into this experience with a knowing of so much love. And yet the emotional side of that experience wasn't always easy for me. My father being somebody that would explode his anger and let everybody know about that. And that was in quite a volatile way also. And my mother being the beautiful soul that would, suppress that anger, and it would, she would people please or make sure everybody was happy and squash down those feelings. And I can see growing up how I became that kind of replica of my mother. And yet inside of me, there would be explosions. And I would attract and bring in relationships into my life of people that would show me either that explosion or the suppression. And now I'm aware of that. Now, after years of counseling and going within and spiritual practice and work and learning and being a practitioner, I can understand it more on a deeper level, and having that deeper connection to the divine that I live for. So I understand in the expression of this. As a child, I didn't understand that. And this anger that can show up in our lives as either passive and kind of just suppressed, which really is that sort of flight or freeze, if we want to call it that. And then there's the fight side of it, where it often explodes, which is the unhealthier side, the uncontained side, really. Both of them being quite unhealthy. Really, what we're looking to do is to find a channel within ourselves where we can express anger in a way that it can be evolved, rather than in a way where it can be outpictured as either harmful to ourselves or others, or suppressed and squashed, and then come out in other areas in our lives where we feel that we have no control over this situation that's happening. So our idea of anger really matters, and our awareness of anger really matters. When angry feelings arise, often we can feel helpless and powerless. And it is a psychological and a physiological response. We have things going on with us in our minds and in our bodies as well, in our brain. The anger that triggers the amygdala to set off a whole kind of cocktail of transmitters and hormones. And then we have this heart sensation with palpitation. And yet when we come to that place of knowing in our spiritual heart that we can tap into the love that is always here of the divine, we can dance with this anger and allow ourselves to have a deeper communion with it, rather than blaming and shaming ourselves for feeling feelings that are really on that spectrum of free will and choice. We have that opportunity to explore these emotions rather than making ourselves feel that we're doing something wrong or we're a bad person because we're feeling it in an angry way. Often anger is a part of our protective mechanism. It's a way of saying, there's a warning sign here for us. There's something in our life that isn't working. We're not happy with it. And the anger can be that signal that's saying, look at this, take a look at this for your life. Open up to another way of being with this situation. Don't just accept it. It might not be the best that is the highest for you right now or for others. Have a look. And so anger can, for me, I believe, can be an incredible opportunity for us to really, really unfold fully as spiritual human beings. Yes, peace and love and joy. This is like the groundedness of our teaching, science of mind. We know Thomas Troward teaches those qualities of the divine, which are light and love and life and joy and peace and harmony and beauty. And yet, as humans here, we get to choose that. We get to say, actually, I can experience the spectrum. And rather than judging myself on that spectrum, take a look at these pieces and embetter my experience here on planet Earth. We're always replaying our old story. We know that. We know that the seeds that we've planted and that we're planting now, they are manifesting. And so in an angry situation, I'll give you an example. I'm living here in where I'm living in the UK. Obviously, I'm in the UK, and we have a shared kind of parking space that a few residents of where I live in the block share. And there's always somebody that is parking in a space. It's a private area that that they know. We all know that that parking space is not for that person. And because my window here looks out over that area, I can kind of get first-hand view of what's going on out there and plot and plan in my mind why I think this person should or shouldn't be doing it. And I make up these stories and I get myself into a state. And that was happening for a while within me. It was happening within me, and I was getting quite irate. And I wasn't showing my anger. I wasn't going to that person knocking on their door telling them, I think you need to do this or that. I was just building it up within me, this kind of silent brewing of a feeling that I know wasn't serving me. It wasn't allowing me to live as that fullness of love, because it got to the point where I'd be looking out the window, almost expecting it to happen. And yes, of course, I was seeding that into the creative law. I was seeding my expectation. And then I would get, within me, I'd kind of get a suppressed kind of passive aggressive thing going on, not feeling good about it. Until one day I recognized that I can't control this person and what they're doing. I can only control me. So I did sit down with my journal, with a pen and with a mirror, and I looked at myself and asked anger to come forward and to talk to me. And it took me straight back to my heart and to love and to trusting in life, trusting that it's okay. I don't have to be the controller of everything that's happening and micromanage what I think is my business when it isn't really. And that shifted everything. And about a week after that, this was about a month ago, this person hasn't parked there ever since. I did that work. I shifted something through me, in me, and as me. And I connected with that place where I knew that the anger became my friend. It gave me information. It gave me a set of guidelines, if you like, to say, Laura, what are you doing here? Come on. And I went even further back and I looked even more deeply at that message. In my journal, I continued to look at anger. I took it away from that experience and I looked at it as me and my life and where I'd been holding on to this. And it took me right back to, when I was a child. And it allowed me to unfold some pieces within me that I knew were energetically in my consciousness still there, and I could dissolve them. I could do that forgiveness work. So I'm asking you or inviting you to look at anger as something where we can get excited about the work that's going to come through or the peace that will come through when we allow that anger to guide us rather than trying to manage it. I think anger movement classes would be the answer for me rather than anger management. Let's not try and manage this. Let's have a deep connection with this. Of course, we want to be in that place where we are responsible as spiritual human beings. So we're looking at anger and saying, okay, I can come away from that passive, aggressive, or explosive place with it, and I can actually be this companion with anger where I have this information that can come through and it can feed me and show me. Thank you, Barbara. Hi. Self-awareness and self-mastery are the key here. Ernest Holmes talks in this thing called life that we can't beat nature at its own game. At least no one has ever succeeded in doing it. We are born with an urge to express life. We are born with a desire to unite our living with others, to enjoy people and to live creatively. It seems as though something dynamic entered into us when we were born, an impulse to enter into the joy of living and to give vent to those thoughts and feelings, those emotions and urges and impulses which every normal person has. And I would believe that when he is saying that, that was written in 1949 from this thing called life. I would believe that when he was saying that, every normal person venting those emotions and feelings that every normal person has, well, I wouldn't think for a moment that he was just cutting us off of us at a certain point and saying, well, anger doesn't exist. He's saying that we get to express it all, we get to be it all, and we also are in choice. We're in choice in every moment. For me, the key here is awareness rather than trying to shame ourselves for feeling a set of feelings, becoming aware of those feelings and how we can improve our lives, because that's what we are aiming to do here, to improve the quality of our life and to improve the quality of our knowing of this connection that is always here, the divine, that is out. No, not necessarily. It is in our hearts. It is in our hearts. And this is where we connect back to. So if you're watching right now, if you're here, place your hand on your heart, your hands on your heart. You know, the heart is a biofeedback for the brain. The heart tells us, it guides us. When we're angry, of course, there's a lot of head stuff going on here, a lot of thoughts and thinking of what we should be doing, and rage can take over. And yet, there's the heart, which can inform the head. It can inform us to take a breath, to slow down, to stretch time so that we're not reacting in the moment, rather than we're responding to the situation with another perception. We have been taught very well to live life a certain way. And we have been taught that to be angry is not a good thing. We have been taught that there is a shame around anger, around feeling the fullness of our feelings. We've been taught this by religion, by theology. We've been taught this by our teachers, by our parents, by media. We have been taught this by spiritual texts even, such as the Bible. There are ingrained messages that anger, the wrath of God, that we will be punished, we will be silenced if we express ourselves fully. And oftentimes, anger can be the thing that allows us to really go under what it's wanting, why it's really there, to look at the clearer message for our lives. Anger is not something that needs to be pushed away. It's something that we can call in, rein in, and say, okay, let's really have a relationship. Let's really have a conversation. Let's really get to the heart of this right now. And not to do this through a feeling of fear, to do this with a knowing of love. That love that's in our heart, the love of the divine that is just pouring itself in and through, revealing itself as everything. It doesn't stop with me and that person in the car parking space. That person too is God expressing. This whole life, this whole experience, it is all God expressing as love. So I have a story here that I found that I really like. It's a Hindu saint, and he was visiting a river in the Ganges, and he saw some family members, and they were arguing and they were shouting at each other, and they were really going for it and, having a good old. And he turned up and he said, "Why are you shouting? Why do you need to shout to each other?" And the people said to him, these disciples, "Because we've lost our calm, and so we shout." It's like, okay, that's the alternative. We've lost our calm, so we're going to shout. And he said, "Why do you need to shout when that person is just right next to you? Does it mean that because they're next to you, they can't hear you, so you have to shout? You may as well tell them in a softer voice. And the disciples, they really didn't have the answer to that, because it made sense. If that person's next to you, why do you have to shout? And so then he explained this, and I'm going to read this. When two people are angry at each other, their hearts distance a lot. To cover that distance, they must shout to be able to hear each other. The angrier they are, the stronger they will have to shout, to hear each other, to cover that great distance. Wow. Just breathe that one in for a moment. What happens when two people fall in love? They don't shout at each other. They talk softly because their hearts are very close. The distance between them is either non-existent or very small. When they love each other even more, what happens? They do not speak, they only whisper, and they get even closer to each other as they fall more in love. Finally, they don't even need to whisper, they only look at each other. That's all they need to do. And that's how close two people are when they are loving each other. So when you argue, don't let your hearts get distant. Don't say words that distance each other more, or else there will come a day when the distance is so great that you will not find the path to return. They may end up in divorce courts, for instance. Well, we know with our teaching that there is always a way. I'm not going to say path. There is always a way of return. It's not that we are so far out there with our anger that we can't get back to that place of love. That's not the truth. The truth is that in any given moment, we have this direct opportunity to take a breath and to know who we are. Ernest Holmes did that. I think it was once every hour or every couple of hours, he would stop and remind himself of who he truly is and whose he is. Do we do enough of that? We do our spiritual practice in the morning, yes. In the evening, possibly. And what about the other, 12 hours or however many hours in the day? Do we sit? Do we remember? Do we realize? Do we intentionally do a spiritual mind treatment just because? Do we have a set formula for using the day as a spiritual practice? Maybe if we did this, we could have a deeper opportunity to be more in touch with the whole spectrum of our feelings and to forgive in the moment, rather than suppressing and sweeping away anger and that conversation. Our work here is to inspire a healthy relationship and a healthy experience with the whole spectrum of who we are, because we're one. And that oneness doesn't stop because we're human. No. That oneness is everything. We are one as one, and that one expresses itself as everything. So we get to micromanage ourselves in the moment. That for me is the exploration of life, that I can do that. And that's not an obsessive thing. That's me saying, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to see who I am in the mirror of my life that's reflecting back at me, and to be willing to make it a better experience for me and others that are here and that know me, and the ripple of that goes out. So anger tells us that we're ready to create a new set of boundaries for our life. It's an incredible force that can guide us when we understand how to use it, really how to use it in a collected way, in a way where we're using our emotional intelligence. Our anger, unfolding our boundaries, shows us that we can have this amazing conversation with who we are as love. A wonderful exercise is to actually write down on journal to a conversation between anger and love on a piece of paper over a certain experience. Magic can come through from this. Are we prepared, though, to really make that, take that step to living this practice, to living the tools and embodying the tools into our daily lives rather than simply listening, reading, and hearing it. Our job, our work is to take that action. And I think anger can push us into taking action for our lives. So we have just come out of the season of nonviolence here. And I know that with Centers for Spiritual Living, especially New Thought Media Network and Science of Mind Archives, and we have all been recognizing peace for our lives. And those great teachers, you know, that go back, that are still here, Buddha, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, the master teacher, Jesus, they teach us that yes, that anger is here as an emotion, and yet we have the choice to choose how we are dealing with it within ourselves. Jesus did get angry. I think there are 7 times in the Bible where he got angry, and he knew that, you know, his message really was, don't let anger control you. Address it as love. Be the love. That's the song, you know, that came on before the words that I wrote, that this love is wrapping its wings around us in every moment. But dare we look at it? Love doesn't always show up in the most comfortable of ways. So we have this opportunity to even look at what we think is discomfort and to seek the love within that, to look into our hearts, to know that anger as an emotion isn't wrong. How we deal with it is our choice. And we can deal with this from an emotionally and spiritually intelligent way. We always have a choice. And I believe that the one thing that is here for us right now, an opportunity, is to become aware of the choice that we have. Our teaching teaches us that we are always experiencing life in the world from right now, from the thoughts, the intentions, the feelings, the words, the attitude that we have just in the past planted and seeded. So we're living out our old intentions, if you like, right now. We're like reading the old newspaper of our lives right now. So are you ready and prepared to change that? Are you ready and prepared to step up and to be that kind of gardener for your life, for the garden, for the flowers, the plants, the seeds that you're planting right now? The one way that I know that we can do this is to use spiritual mind treatment, is to expand our mental equivalent. Yes, we need to do that. We're being called to do that, to open up to the infinite and to the divine, the potential of what is here right now, rather than living in our small cut or piece of the experience that we think is the only experience that is happening. There are infinite possibilities of how we can see and feel and know a situation. Are we letting God move through us in the fullness of what it is in our lives? Are we allowing God to guide us? Are we listening? Because anger is almost an opportunity for us to get closer to God. If we're feeling tense, if we're feeling like we just want to, scream from the hilltops, well, there's something in there. There's something underneath that. And as I explained before, it could lead back to something in childhood that really wants to be revealed and be healed right now, so that we can move through into our lives in a more powerful and more expansive ways. Our emotions are the messages of our subconscious mind. So we can open up, to create that dialogue and to drop those seeds into the subconscious of love, of allowing, of willingness, of greatness, because this is who we each are. And this is our time to rise into this right now, especially right now with what is going on in our world, on our planet. So I invite us all right now to communicate our expectations, to communicate our values, to have more loving conversations with others, clearer communication, to take a pause much more regularly during the day, and to engage with this anger, really with the messages underneath it, and to be excited about that. Make it a spiritual practice, not to be more angry, to feel into it, to feel into the anger. And this is the heart. This is where the heart comes in. So we come away from analyzing it and just trying to chop it into bits and pieces of shoulds and shouldn'ts, and really reach into our heart of how it feels, because this is the language of the divine. It's a feeling. Consciousness is feeling. Consciousness is feeling. So we have this responsibility, if you like, as individuals, to tap into our feelings and to really allow ourselves to question why certain things might not be working to our fullest, and to do something about it, changing our perception. I'm just going to finish here on a few things about changing our perception, because I've collected a few quotes over the couple of years, and I just want to read some out because they might just spark something in you. The Hebrew text, the Talmud, says, "We do not see things as they are. We see things as we are." Emerson, that great teacher, the writer, the author, the knower of the Transcendental Movement, he said that a being becomes what they think about most of the time. Epictetus, a Greek scholar and philosopher, stated that it is not events that disturb the minds of humans, but the view they take of them. Einstein, who Ernest Holmes met, I think they had dinner together. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Ernest Holmes so often quoting, "It is done unto us as we believe," from Matthew in the Bible. And also, be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. I like to say, I love this one. The way you say it is the way you see it. Yes, the way you say it is the way you see it. And change the meaning and change our lives. It's not always just our thinking. It's the meaning that we place on things. So we're here right now being called to create a new paradigm for our lives, one where anger is not something that is pushed away as the bad child of our experience, rather than pulled in and held in that love. And yes, let's wrap our wings around that anger and have a conscious communication with it, an emotionally and spiritually intelligent connection with anger, so that we get to choose in the moment how we show up as spiritual human beings. Thank you for listening today. That is my message. This is what I wanted to say. I did have a lot more written down, and I know that I don't have so much time, but ultimately we are here having this incredible experience right now, and we can, if we choose, we can decide to love every single part of us, even those parts that we've been told should be put aside and ignored. So thank you for being here. And just remember, our affirmation for today is, my true nature is peace and love. And for that, we know that we're open and ready to do the work that we're being called to do. Thank you. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much for that beautiful message. And we're going to end with your song, "I Am the Love That I Am."
Oh,
And just a couple of minutes, we're going to come up with that. But I wanted to get a couple of announcements in before we do that. And we're going to bring you back in just a minute for our closing treatment and prayer. So, Laura, be right back with us. So, what a beautiful message, what beautiful reminders that everything is what we put into it. What am I bringing to it, and what is it bringing to me? Here's the opportunity. So I am so grateful for that reminder today. And I wanted to go into our law of circulation. Says that Giving activates receiving. So we are here and doing the good that we do. We're able to spread this good news and be in this loving community because of what we share. And there are several ways. You can go through PayPal, you can text to give, or if you're in person, of course, we always accept cash checks. Whatever it is, however it is you circulate your good, we appreciate it. And we have a divine sacred giving affirmation, and I ask if you could say it with me now. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And we do circulate good in this world in amazing ways. And I am so grateful for each one of you. And thank you to soon to be Reverend Laura and to all of you for watching. There is so much good here, and it's a wonderful way to remember that we have choice. We have a choice in what it is that we put forth in the world. And, where we put our attention, it grows. And it's the same thing with our money. Our money is our attention. What we put in is what we put into the world. So what are the seeds that you are intentionally planting? So I am so grateful for this message today. And I'm going to bring back Laura, if you can close this out, or you're going to do our treatment, and then we'll have a few words before we play that final song.
Okay, wonderful. So let's join together heart to heart and mind to mind now. And I'm going to invite us to close our eyes, if that's okay for you to do this right now. And just take a breath and be here now. Just knowing that we're supported, knowing that love is here, knowing that God is here. As I now state and seed my word for the purpose of this spiritual mind treatment, that yes, love and peace are our true nature, and that yes, we allow and accept the experience to come through, knowing that this too is love expressing. And so I know that this one thing that is happening right now, that always has and always will, this infinite and eternal thing that I know of as God, and yet it has many names. And beyond all of those names, it is this ineffable essence, this thing itself that Ernest Holmes knew it as and knows it as, this divine expression of infinite intelligence that is creating itself as the idea of all of life. And as I open up to this and know this and feel this in my heart, I know that I am too as this. I am the I am that I am. That this divine expression is unfolding itself in, as, and through me right now, revealing itself in, as, and through me. And that as I show up as the unique expression, I am this unique expression of who I am, that this individualized knowing of me is the expression of the divine, as it is for each and every one of us here, each and every one of us on this planet, each and every one of us beyond, at every strata, stage, every plane, that everything is this divine expressing itself as love, as joy, as peace, and as the fullness of this experience here on planet Earth. And so I know, as I recognize this and I realize it in my heart, that I have a choice. I'm at choice as how I see this experience. And I choose to see this experience through the eyes and with the heart of love. Knowing that as I breathe this in, knowing that love is revealing itself through me and as me and each of us, that I see on this planet right now, that individually and collectively, that we say yes to the opening up of this greater expression of the highest light of the divine. And so I know that any opportunity for any growth, any expansion, any more revealing is here right now, that I say yes to this. And that rather than making any bad judgments or any kind of error or erroneous judgment on anything, that I see the great opportunity right now for me to grow, for me to be that greater expression of this thing itself. And I see each and every one of us doing this right now, opening our hearts to love, opening our hearts to peace, doing the work that we are called to do right now so that we step up in our lives, in our consciousness, as our mental equivalent, as our knowing of the truth of who we are. I see this happening in such a bold and dynamic way, and that being here at CSL Greater Boston is a part of this for each of us right now. And so I'm grateful for Gina and the beautiful, beautiful energy of the individuals that are here and watching. And of course, for Barbara and Darlene and for Karen for saying yes to making this happen, and the technology, and of course, for the love of the divine that is always here, always seeking to show us and to show me how I can be more of this expression as love. I release this now into the law, knowing that this law is always in operation, absolutely in order. And as I step back and step aside from this, I allow it to be. And please join me if you choose to and wish to say, and so it is.
Thank you so much for that beautiful prayer. And thank you for saying yes to us today.
Oh, thank you, Gina. Thank you for inviting me here. It's been an amazing, amazing experience to be here for your community.
Thank you. And for those of you, thank you so much for watching. Whether you're online, whether you're here with us live, wherever you are, know that you are in our hearts, that the oneness right here, right now, there is nothing but love. And I am grateful that you shared that with us today. Know that we are here next week, just virtually. It is Memorial Day weekend, beginning of summer, although it's going to be 90 here in Boston today. The official beginning is next week, and we will be virtual only just for next week. But we will be live again all of June. So know that we are here, and knowing that all is perfect and that we are going with the flow this week, enjoying every bit of it. And know that we are also on Media Network at 5 p.m. We are here globally, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Media Network every week. And just know that we are loving and looking forward to seeing more of you this summer. We've got classes, we've got some exciting new gatherings planned, and I am knowing that the love that we have here is just multiplying in so many ways. So grateful and filled with joy for this upcoming week. And we're going to close with the song from Laura and Debbie Schroeder, and it's I Am the Love That I Am. Blessings and love to you all. Namaste.
Here we are, face to face. The healing way is clear. make a choice to change. And now I see the whole of me.